My name is Brenda. I am 27 years old. I signed my divorce papers before I truly understood what love meant. When my marriage ended, I was still a virgin. For a long time, I could not explain how that was possible. I grew up in a quiet house. My mother spoke softly. My father worked long hours. In our home, love was shown through hot meals, clean clothes, and silence. We never talked about feelings. We never talked about the body. We talked about patience. We talked about goodness. From the time I was small, I was taught that a good girl keeps herself pure. A good girl waits. A good girl does not ask for too much. I believed all of it. I held those words inside me like a law written on my heart. I met Daniel when I was 24. We worked in the same office. He wore simple shirts and always smelled like clean soap. He smiled with his eyes before his mouth did. He noticed small things when I drank my coffee too fast. When he spoke to me, he looked at my face, not my body. That made me feel safe. We started having lunch together. We shared quiet stories. He talked about his plans and his simple dreams. I mostly listened. One afternoon, he asked me to dinner. My hands shook when I said yes. We dated slowly. We held hands. We walked in the evenings. Sometimes our shoulders touched. I felt something warm rush through me, but I always pulled back without meaning to. Daniel never pushed. He said he respected my values. When he said that, I felt proud. But somewhere underneath, I also felt afraid. After a year, he asked me to marry him. It was quiet and simple, just his voice and my name. I said yes before my fear could speak. Our wedding was small. White dress, soft lights. My mother cried. People said I was lucky. They said I was pure. I smiled and tried to believe them. That night, the room felt heavy. The bed looked too large. Daniel was gentle. He asked if I was okay. I nodded, but my body felt stiff, like it belonged to someone else. My thoughts were loud and tangled. I told myself to be brave, but my voice did not come. Fear rose slowly in my chest, thick and cold. I pulled away. Daniel stopped. He said we could wait. I felt relief and shame in the same breath. That was the first night. It was not the last. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. We shared a home, but not closeness. We ate together. We slept side by side. We talked about work and bills. But at night, my body stayed closed. My mind went somewhere far away. I did not understand what was wrong with me. I had waited my whole life for this. I had done everything right. So why did I feel so broken? Daniel tried to be patient. He tried to talk to me. I avoided his eyes. I said I was tired. I said I needed more time. He believed me, but I could see the light slowly leaving his face. His smiles faded. He started staying longer at work. When he came home, he looked tired in a way that sleep could not fix. One evening, he asked if we could talk. His voice was calm, but his hands were shaking. That scared me more than anger would have. He told me he loved me. He told me he respected me. But he also said he felt alone. He said marriage should feel shared, not like two people living in separate silences. I wanted to explain. I wanted to give him something true, but all I could say was sorry. After that, the silence between us grew into something solid. It sat at the table with us. It lay in the bed between us. I tried to change. I read books. I prayed. I told myself to try harder. But every time Daniel came near, my body responded with fear, not warmth. No matter how much I wanted things to be different, I could not force my body to feel safe. Then, one night, I understood something that changed everything. I had spent my whole life learning to stay pure, but no one had ever taught me how to feel safe inside my own body. Purity and safety are not the same thing. I had never known that. I found a doctor and then a counselor. For the first time in my life, I spoke words I had kept locked away. I talked about my childhood. I talked about silence. I talked about fear. My counselor listened without judgment. She told me my body had learned to disconnect as a way of protecting itself. She said it was not weakness. She said it was survival. I cried in her office, not from shame, but because someone finally saw me clearly. I told Daniel what I had learned. I explained as simply as I could. He listened. He held my hand. But something in his eyes had already shifted. He was tired. Love needs time, but it also needs hope. A few months later, he told me he wanted to separate. He said it gently. He said he did not blame me. He said he needed a life that felt full. I did not fight him. I did not beg. I just nodded. Part of me had already known this was coming. The divorce was quiet. Papers. Signatures. No shouting. When I walked outside afterward, I breathed in the air slowly. I was still a virgin. I was also divorced. Both things were true at the same time. For a while, I felt hollow. I woke up alone. I ate alone. I sat in silence. But slowly, the silence changed. It stopped feeling like a punishment and started feeling like space. Room to finally hear myself. I kept going to counseling. I kept learning. I learned that purity without choice is not really purity at all. It is fear wearing the clothes of goodness. I did not hate Daniel. I understood him. We had both tried. We had both suffered quietly in our own ways. One evening, I sat by the window with a cup of tea. Rain tapped gently against the glass. I placed my hand on my chest and felt my own heartbeat. For the first time in years, I did not feel ashamed of who I was. I used to think my worth was tied to what I kept or what I gave, but I know now that was never true. My worth was always in my honesty with myself above everything else. I still think about my marriage sometimes. I think of it like a white dress folded neatly in a box, clean, unused, but still part of my story, still part of who I am becoming. I stand by the window now and watch the rain fall, but I am not hiding behind the glass anymore. I am here. I am present. And for the first time in my life, I feel whole.